Host for Greatest Sports Legends. Our guest today played wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, and he made a living out of frustrating defensive backs throughout the NFL. He was quick, smart, and fearless. But most of all, he possessed an uncanny ability to make the clutch play every time his number was called. His name was Drew Pearson. Yeah.
Although it has been quite some time since Drew Pearson caught his last pass in the NFL, his exploits on the field are still very much alive in the minds of football fans all over America. During his 10-year career, Drew was known as a money player, a receiver capable of turning defeat into miraculous victory. The Dallas Cowboy teams of the 70s were one of pro football's elite. Split-end Drew Pearson was a major factor in the success of those teams. He combined unbreakable concentration with a pair of steady hands. Drew's elusiveness often turned one-on-one coverage into 6 points and made him a quarterback's dream come true, as well as a defensive back's Sunday afternoon nightmare. Drew Pearson, a member of the NFL's team of the 70s and the all-time leading receiver in Cowboy history.
Hey, thanks for calling, man.
All right. I like that. With no linemen. Drew, you played 11 years in the NFL. How did you manage to maintain such a high level of performance?
Well, Dave, it's just that self-pride, you know, being an athlete and just wanting to do well. And when your job depends on performance, whether you're going to be there the next year, then you have to, you know, do the necessary things so that you're there.
You know, I would imagine that one of the toughest things for a wide receiver to do is when you have to make that catch coming across the middle, knowing there's got to be a hit waiting for you, a clothesline or something. That's got to take a lot of heart.
Yeah, there's no question about that. A lot of heart and a lot of craziness. I think a combination of both makes you want to go in there. My thing was to catch the football over the middle because I was not a big receiver. I was not a fast receiver. So I had to do something different that nobody else wanted to do to keep myself in the game. And the only thing left was to make those tough catches over the middle, to be the one that wanted to go in there and make the catch. And my philosophy was that you're going to get hit anyway in that situation, so you might as well catch the ball and come down with it. And every time I did that, it never seemed to hurt as much when I had that football under my arm.
Catching the ball over the middle is not easy. Receivers in the NFL often suffer painful encounters, violent head-on collisions, and unpleasant greetings from enraged defenders. Drew Pearson, however, was one receiver who accepted this challenge. He withstood the physical pounding in order to make the catch. The foundation for Drew Pearson's successful career in pro football was first laid during his high school days back in New Jersey.
Drew, you began your football career at South River High in New Jersey, my home state now, and you were teamed up with Joe Theismann. Now, that had to be an awesome combination.
Yeah, well, it turned out really good. Joey was 2 years ahead of me. He was a senior when I was a sophomore, but my first touchdown pass I caught was a 60-yard bomb from Joe Theismann. And I caught it 60 yards. I caught it standing in the end zone, so he had to throw it 60 yards, and unbelievable for a high school quarterback to do that.
The passing combination of quarterback Joe Theismann and split-end Drew Pearson was unstoppable. These future NFL stars formed a devastating tandem which led South River to an undefeated season in 1966. After Theismann left, Drew took over at quarterback. Drew would later attend the University of Tulsa with the hope of someday joining the NFL. Unfortunately for Drew, he was never drafted.
It was really a low point for me, and to see all my teammates at Tulsa get drafted. We had about 5 guys that did get drafted that year, and then you not getting drafted, it kind of didn't sit too well with me. It was just a major disappointment for me.
Wow. Well, you know, a lot of athletes, when that happens, they go into limbo, they quit, they give up. It must have given you a lot more incentive, because the first thing you did was go for a tryout with the Dallas Cowboys, none other than America's team.
Well, it did give me incentive, and it just made me, that adversity gave me something to work to try to prove a lot of people wrong. And I knew I had the athletic ability to play, number one, and I knew I had the heart to play the game. So I just worked real hard before I went to training camp, and things started falling into place for me once I got to training camp.
Drew Pearson joined the Cowboy lineup in 1973. He and quarterback Roger Staubach quickly developed a deadly passing combination. Drew demonstrated that he could hang on to the ball in traffic and that he could also turn a defender inside out. In the playoffs that year, the Cowboys faced the Los Angeles Rams. With Dallas leading 17-16 in the fourth quarter, Roger Staubach called on number 88.
Throws down the middle. He's got Drew Pearson open at the 50-yard line. Pearson now is all by himself.
This touchdown ensured a Cowboy win, and although they would lose the conference title game, they had found yet another rising star. Drew Pearson, a player no one wanted, had found a home in the NFL.
Virtually unknown free agent to a starter almost overnight for the Dallas Cowboys. How did you react to all the attention and the acclaim?
Well, I was really shocked myself, as everybody else was that knew me. But I thought I handled it well. I was in a system that kind of had everything under control as far as the athletes were concerned. And I was on a team with a lot of other good football players. So I just kind of put everything in perspective. I was really humbled by not being drafted, and all of a sudden I'm in the professional ranks playing with the Dallas Cowboys. So everything that I did, I was just totally thankful for.
In 1974, the Dallas Cowboys were loaded with talented offensive players. There was Calvin Hill, Walt Garrison, and, of course, Roger the Dodger Staubach. Drew Pearson, playing in his first full season with the Cowboys, led the team with 62 receptions, averaging 17 yards per catch. Pearson also proved to be a dangerous open field runner once the ball was in his hands. On Thanksgiving Day, the Cowboys faced their arch rivals, the Washington Redskins. Washington took a 23-17 lead in the fourth quarter on this touchdown by Dwayne Thomas. The 6-point deficit was cause for alarm, especially since Roger Staubach had been knocked out of the game. The Cowboys had to rely on an untested rookie quarterback named Clint Longley. With 35 seconds left to play in the game, Dallas was in desperate need of a miracle.
Dropping back, looking for an open receiver. He fires a pass deep downfield. Drew Pearson has his man beaten at the 5. Touchdown, Dallas! An unbelievable play. Drew Pearson just ran by everyone, and the Cowboys will win it 24-23.
This touchdown catch by Drew Pearson demonstrated that more often than not, he usually came out on top in his ongoing battles with defensive backs in the NFL.
I'm a really low-key guy, kind of quiet, kind of shy off the field, but I take on a different personality on the field, and I think you have to do that to play the game. And when I got out against defensive back, and there's a lot of times within the course of a season you cannot get up for a game. So a lot of times I would use the defensive backs to get me up. I would try to instigate some action between him and me, and that would get me fired up, because then I'll start talking noise, and then I have to back it up and then I'd have to be careful to watch myself that this guy didn't come and try to take my head off.
So you might be the antagonist to start the game, huh?
Yeah, I've done that many times, and I never really had any friends out there once I stepped on a football field, and what we did after the game was something different, but I really enjoyed my one-on-one confrontations with defensive backs, and that really motivated me to do well.
In 1975, Drew continued to win his personal duels with defensive backs as the Cowboys returned to their winning ways and earned a wild card spot in the playoffs. They faced the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. With 24 seconds remaining in the game, the Cowboys trailed 14-10. It was time to look up to the heavens for inspiration.
Standing back on his 45, waiting the shotgun snap. He gets it. He drops. He looks long. He pumps and throws a home run ball. Drew Pearson's going for it. He catches the ball. Touchdown, Dallas. Incredible. Drew Pearson covered all the way, catches the ball at the 3 and steps in for a touchdown. And the Cowboys miraculously go 85 yards in 9 plays.
That game was the big game for me because it labeled me as a clutch receiver, and it was something I had to live with for the rest of my career, but it was something positive to live with. And we were the only wild card team that same year to go through the wild card ranks of the playoffs and make it to the Super Bowl, so it turned out to be a special year for us.
Super Bowl 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Dallas Cowboys. This proved to be a physical game which brought the best out of both teams and provided fans with a game to match the publicity. In the first quarter, the combination of Staubach and Pearson gave the Cowboys a 7-0 lead. However, the Steelers would eventually prevail 21-17. With Drew Pearson clearly one of the Cowboys' shining stars, Dallas still felt that they needed to add a few more players to reach their ultimate goal.
Drew, in 1977, the Cowboys made a couple of key acquisitions. Tony Dorsett, Tony Hill. What kind of impact did people like this have on the team?
Well, they have major impact because, first of all, we had some good talent there, but that talent we had there was getting a little old. And to try to keep your team up to a certain level, you got to start blending in some new young talent. And for the Cowboys to be able to get players like Tony Dorsett and Tony Hill was a major impact on our football team. And Tony Dorsett is just an amazing football player, and the things he did to improve our football team was just unbelievable. And we went to the Super Bowl that year, so major impact.
Rookie running back Tony Dorsett brought the element of speed to a Cowboy offense, which incorporated innovative formations, deception, and misdirection into a game plan that left defenses looking in the wrong place at the wrong time. As always, the Dallas defense spelled doom for opposing teams as the Cowboys rolled to a 12-4 record and the NFC crown. This team blended together talent, determination, and brilliant coaching, which elevated them to a level all their own. They looked good, they were exciting, and they were winners.
Drew, over the years, the Yankees have been called the Bronx Bombers because of the penchant for home runs. The Cowboys acquired the name America's Team. How did all that come about?
Well, I think, number one, the players did not do that, because once we became labeled America's Team, everybody's saying, well, let's go beat America's Team. So it made it tough on the players. I think it came about just because of the mystique that the Cowboys were able to develop, pulling games out in the last minute, and also because of the exposure we got on national TV and that type of thing. And everybody always could identify with the Cowboys. We had a lot of fans around the country, so I guess with all that, they figured we were America's team.
Well, you not only lived up to the reputation on the field, I think everybody identifies with those uniforms. You think you guys had some of the best-looking uniforms?
We had the best uniforms in the NFL, at least the best helmets anyway.
Right.
The star on there, being from Texas, you know, the star, the Lone Star State and everything. When everybody saw that star, that silver and blue, people identified with us. We definitely had the best uniforms.
I agree.
In the Super Bowl 13, the Dallas defense gained most of the glory by reducing the Denver Broncos and their Orange Crush mania to a lifeless pulp. The Cowboy offense utilized a big play attack during the lopsided 27-10 victory. Although Drew Pearson was not the star of this show, his season-long performance was a major factor in the Cowboys' Super Bowl success of 1977.
Can you describe what it feels like to hear that gun go off, you walk off the field, and you're world champions?
A great feeling, man. It's an unbelievable feeling. But the thing about it is, you're thinking about what you have overcome to become a world champion. You know, the games you go through the regular season, going through the playoffs, the injuries, problems you overcome, just inward team-type problems. You overcome all those things, and all of a sudden it comes to a climax, and you win the whole thing, and it's over, and you say,
You did it.
yeah, we're world champs. It's just a great feeling.
In 1978, the Dallas Cowboys faced the Pittsburgh Steelers in a Super Bowl rematch. Drew Pearson's outstanding performance could not offset the explosive Steelers, who outscored the Cowboys 35-31. Then in 1980, Drew came up with yet another dramatic performance in a playoff game against the Atlanta Falcons. Trailing 27-17 in the fourth quarter, Drew made this catch to bring Dallas to within 3 points. Then, with 46 seconds left to play, quarterback Danny White called on a familiar target. Pearson's game-winning catch proved once again that he was one of pro football's greatest clutch receivers.
Drew, I guess the lasting legacy that you're going to leave behind is that uncanny ability to always come up with that clutch play. What was it that made you rise to the occasion?
Well, Dave, it's a number of things. Number one, it's your coach, your quarterback, your teammates having confidence in you in that situation to come through to make a play. Number two, you always have to envision yourself in those types of situations. Like when I was in the locker room before a game, I would think about making that final catch to pull our team out to win the game. And when it happened in the game situation, it was kind of like deja vu. This seemed like this happened before, but you have to envision yourself in that situation, and you also have to have confidence of your teammates.
Yeah. You know, for me, it's been great for you to come out here to La Costa today and share with me all of your career, your personal life. And I know that if we had come up together, we came out of college at the same time, and I was a quarterback and you were the receiver, we had a fantastic passing receiving combination.
Well, Dave, I don't say this to everybody, but you can throw to me anytime.
Okay.
Drew Pearson, a receiver who possessed the ability to make impossible plays look ordinary. Pearson, all-pro performer, future Hall of Famer, the Dallas Cowboys' Mr. Clutch.